We're up to shows 12 and 13 as the Hackney Diamonds Tour rolls through North America. And it was another great one in Cleveland. No tour debuts this evening, but Heartbreaker won this evening's song vote. Funny moment tonight when Keith missed his solo on Angry. Monkey Man also makes an appearance on this tour tonight. Another great version was Keith blasting through the mix. Miss You finally returned into the set, leaving out Midnight Rambler. Another wicked harmonica solo by Mick. Keith still got 3 songs tonight. Tell Me Straight, Little TNA, and Happy.
Never gonna flesh out the cocktails. I guess I'll flesh up that bone. Never gonna lift up the legends, mama, when I can fly way back home. I need a love. Give me happy.
And then a pretty standard set list from that point on, with the greatest hits run closing out the evening. And yet again, Sweet Sounds of Heaven was missing from tonight's encore. Just last night, the Stones passed through Denver. Wild Horses was played tonight, and also Mess It Up. Let It Bleed won the song vote this evening, which marks the second time this song appeared on this tour. Really good to see Mick and Keith playing off each other. Midnight Rambler returned into the set, swapping out Miss You. Always fun to watch this song. My favorite part is watching what I call the huddle, which is when Keith, Mick, and Ronnie kind of get together before Mick takes the exit for the song. And fun to watch last night's version while Ronnie is soloing up in the front of the stage. Mick is sort of waiting and pulling him over to join the huddle so he can do the count off for the final home stretch. Great fun to watch. And finally, Sweet Sounds of Heaven makes its return into the set. It's finally back.
And they praise that.
And what makes this show in Denver very special is that this is the Stones' first show, which they do 20 songs in the set since 2019. Yeah, Keith doing his 3 songs, Tell Me Straight, Little TNA and Happy, and Sweet Sounds of Heaven back into the encore slot. That brings the total of the set to 20 songs, which is incredible. I mean, the fact that the Stones are, mixing it up and changing it up, they are making an effort to make every show unique and special. I was at the show in Cleveland, and although we had a great time, the night didn't start out that great because we had lucky dip tickets that evening. And I had high hopes that we would have some good seats for the lucky dips. And I got there on 6:30, and there were 2 windows open. One window someone was at to pick up their lucky dip tickets, and the other window someone had just finished picking up their tickets, and they were yelling and screaming and, jumping for joy. And, it was obvious they got something amazing. And so I thought, that's the window for me. So I ran over to that window, handed over my ID, literally begged them for something great. And he just smiled and handed over the tickets. I opened them, and they were section 515, all the way in the corner of the city. Just like, oh God, what bus do I take to go up to this section? Where do I go? And it was the farthest corner of the whole stadium. To the right of us, nothing but air. And at least we could see the beautiful skyline, because it was beautiful right on the water there, having the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next door. And so, we made do. And, that's how it goes. My thing recently is no matter where you're placed in a Stones show, it's all about the community feeling. And people were standing, and people were, going nuts and singing and dancing, even all the way up there, which, of course, helps a lot. And I was glad that was happening. And my friend was having a great time. It was his first show, so he was taking it all in, and we could see the entire stadium. So it was extra special. Halfway through the show, though, we relocated. We found some other spots down to 300 level, dead on straight, which allowed me, for the first time on this tour, really get a very impactful impression of the sound coming off the stage, because we were almost at ear level with the speakers and the PA system. And I have to say, it was incredible to get all that force coming at you and just hitting you. And I gotta say that Keith Richards, his vocals have improved so much ever since he gave up smoking. And on this show in particular, I was listening to him sing Happy, and combination of a perfect sound coming through the PA and his voice, which is fuller and way more full-bodied. It was impressive, and it was really cool to listen to. So it sounds like he's just getting warmed up vocally, and these 3 songs he's doing really seems to agree with him. Beginning of Honky Tonk Woman with that intro on the drums, always my favorite part. That's really the first kind of notch up that Keith kind of owns the remaining part of the show, because to hear him do all that beautiful open G stuff with Steve supporting him, it's just magic to hear that. And like I've been kind of, rattling on all these shows, Jumping Jack Flash is absolutely for me the centerpiece of the show. And I've been noticing in the last couple of shows that it's kind of fluctuated in terms of tempo. Early in the tour, it's been a very aggressive, quick pace. And then it kind of slowed down a little bit somewhere on Atlanta and those shows over there, right after New Jersey, I would say. It kind of relaxed a bit. And so I was hoping that Cleveland, we would get that energy back. And on that night, they totally locked in on that great tempo, just pushing it, very much in control. But, you think, oh, geez, they're almost going to, is this too fast for them? And they just have it under control. And those are my favorite moments. That unpredictability in the Stones is always what makes them very special. Again, because I was at ear level with the PA, I told my friend, I said, hey, focus on Keith on this song because this is the magic. And then couldn't even finish my sentence and kaboom, bop, bop, and then that riff just knocks you right in the head. And if you're going to go see them, that's my only tip, is that after Painted Black, focus on Keith because that's Jumpin' Jack Flash next, and all you get is just guitar, guitar, guitar. And the mixers know it, that this is Keith delivering, and he always comes through on this song, and it's a joy to listen to. So worth the price of admission, always. And it's funny, this was the first time I actually was noticing myself not really connecting with Painted Black in the set. Although Steve Jordan plays the song very closely to the studio recording by playing the toms during the verses, I'm not sure that really is the most impactful direction to go with the song, because I kind of missed a more thumping and threatening version, the way Charlie Watts played it on stage, which involved him combining the toms with the snare. So it was a bigger sound as opposed to a thinner, more sparse kind of percussive kind of vibe. It kind of misses this larger, bigger sound, and it makes the song slightly more intimate. So that was the only time I kind of noticed that, and I noticed that this was not something that I was connecting with. So just a random observation. And get this, while I was in Cleveland, I stopped over at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they had a fantastic exhibit for the Stones. They had some very cool things, which I was able to photograph and take video of, which I'll put together in another video. But while I was walking around the exhibits, guess who I see but none other than Mr. Tim Reese. And I was just absolutely, just starstruck. And I was able to go over and say hello. And he was so kind. He was very warm and very generous with his time. So I definitely loved that moment. Thank you, Tim. And before I left the Hall of Fame, I was outside. And guess who I see zipping past me but Pierre, Keith's guitar tech. I yelled out to him, but he was in a rush. He had to go. But I thought, this is heaven. I'm like in a Stones convention, Well, that's all for now. The Stones are in Chicago next. 2 shows at Soldier Field next week. Like I've been saying, this is your home base for everything to do with the Stones. Tour updates will continue, and a lot more Stones content is coming. Make sure you hit subscribe, because any interaction at all helps the channel in a humongous way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hangfire.